Angus here, and I just wanted to make a quick video on the Concept 2 Strength ERG versus the Voltra 1. I don't actually have the Voltra 1, but if you're in a position to buy the Strength ERG or the Voltra 1, which one would I go for? I obviously went for the Strength ERG, but was that the right decision? And what are the key differences? So these two bits of technology are actually really cool for the strength training community. We've got all these weights and barbells, and we're loading on and we're loading off, and it can be a bit of a pain in the ass loading on and off, especially if you're training with a training partner that's maybe, you know, considerably different strength-wise with you. With the Strength ERG, you could both jump on and do a set of leg press as hard as you possibly can, and the machine will just adjust the resistance for you. The Voltra should be quite easy to do a similar thing. One of the key things with the Voltra is you go on a eccentric, plus you can do band modes and chain modes and all these things. But the downside with the Voltra is you need other gym equipment to work with it. You need to attach it onto your power rack, onto your kind of bar, or kind of drilled into the wall somehow to keep it steady. You can move it around, and you're just attaching attachments onto the Voltra. I think something like the Strength ERG, but we get rid of this fan there. Not that there's anything wrong with the fan, but we have like a little slidey bit where we could slide the Voltra in and it clips in. So then the Voltra could be used on a machine like this that you do a leg press, a row, and a push with, and then maybe you have the screen here where you can adjust the Voltra settings on what you're wanting to do on it. That would be cool. And then you can take your Voltra out and then move it around the gym and use it with other things. I've got this thing called the Handy Gym. It's just over here. It's on this belt squat machine here. So this is the Handy Gym. You've got to replace these plates. It does connect to a mobile phone app, which is really cool. It's, as you pull it, it will give you resistance on the way back, but it's more about creating dynamic speed and pushing. And it fits on with this attachment here. Let me just press the buttons. Right, attachment here, and it slides off, and you can move this around, and then you can get different attachments. You can put it on like a belt squat attachment. Very similar to the Voltra. It's a cool bit of kit, but it's quite fiddly to use, where something like the Voltra always goes back into its box, so it doesn't seem to be as fiddly as the Handy Gym is. So despite the fact the Handy Gym is pretty cool, you can put it on the board that's on the ground, and then you do bicep curls with it, you can do belt squats with it, but you've always got to adjust the rope length. So it can be a little bit fiddly, especially if you're using it with multiple people. People are at different heights for their bicep curls, and it's got a different end point and finishing point, etc. And you've got to pull the rope to the end, and then it will come back, kind of like the way a yo-yo works. But at least it's got the eccentric part of the movement. So the concentric is the lift up, the eccentric is on the way down. Eccentric, you're generally stronger. So say you're doing pull-ups, you could start at the top and lower yourself down, even though you can't do a pull-up yet. So that's one way of training for a pull-up. The Concept 2 Strength ERG does not have that. It's got concentric only, which is useful in some cases, but not all cases, particularly muscle damage and soreness. So in the Concept 2 Strength ERG, you will get sore, but not as sore as if you actually did 3 sets of 10 200 kilo leg press. You'll be barely able to walk the next day. On this, you're fine the next day. In fact, you're fine to train the next day. So cool for testing, cool for training all the time. Cardio wise, doing a minute and a half on this machine will get your heart rate through the roof. You'll feel like dying. So for that higher intensity stuff, amazing. For cardiovascular wise, amazing, because your body doesn't really care if you're doing eccentric. Most cardio things are kind of concentric only, like sled pushes are concentric only, bike right clip-in pedals concentric only, the rowers concentric only, ski ergs concentric only. And if you've used some of these machines and you've used them a lot, like in the ski erg, my tricep blew up using the ski erg a lot. On the rowing machine, my bicep blew up because I was pulling too much and not using enough leg drive. Blowing up is fine. I want muscle size. That's cool. So this is Voltra versus the Strength ERG. They're both very expensive, but they're going to replace a lot of your components, and they're going to slip into the stuff you already have. But if you could only buy one, I went for the Strength ERG because it's going to suit my purpose of training sort of older people. You don't have to, on the Voltra, you're going to have to select what weight you're using. On this, the machine will already dial in depending on how hard you push. So it's a bit like a bike. The faster you cycle, the more power output you have, where someone on the next bike can just dawdle along on the bike. With this, if you do a really light leg press, it will be like, 10 kilos. But if you really push it, you can just hammer this up in the 200s. I'm sure people can do 300-400 on it. You're gonna have no problem strength-wise. It's an all-in-one machine that does everything, where the Voltra is something you're gonna have to put in. If the people at Voltra want me to send me a Voltra, I would be blessed. It's on my sort of 2027 shopping list at this point, and we're only in 2025. It is something I would love to have in the gym, but its use cases will be a bit niche, and when I'm training several people, I don't want to fiddle about with equipment. I want equipment that I can just set up and go, that takes 10 seconds to set up and people can just go. And the Concept 2 Strength ERG at the moment is that machine. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want some more Concept 2 Strength ERG videos, click this one next.